let me just sign in here. So what we've done is we've developed this bot internally on AWS. We've got some work just to do on the cost. We're just not calculating this correctly at the moment. We're picking up the wrong metric for some reason. We've also got dark mode here, light mode, dark mode, which is one of the most important features in any application. Um, we've built it in so what you can do is you can select one from any number of models and actually run your prompt against any model that is available within AWS. We've selected, I think it was 10. Yeah, so we've got 10 LLMs to choose from here. These have all been provisioned as serverless LLMs in Amazon Bedrock. But there are built-in guardrails within the LLMs already, and I'm going to show you how we can implement some additional guardrails. Just select the specific LLM. If you're deploying this internally, and we can deploy this for customers internally on their own infrastructure, what you can do is you can reduce the costs of any query that you run against the LLM. So let's just run a query at 3.7. Um, tell me about Amazon Bedrock. It sends the query off. We've got a Lambda function running in the background, which runs the application, and then it queries it, sends the query out to Amazon Bedrock, and then pulls the response back. You can specify the token size so that if you want to restrict the usage for employees, let's say you're deploying it internally, you can restrict the usage for employees by limiting the amount of output tokens you're allowed to utilize. If we then go to a different model, like Nova Pro, for example, this will be a slightly cheaper query. I'm going to ask it the same question. As you can see, you've got multiple LLMs, but they're keeping the output in the same chat history, which is quite handy. So let me just try and run another one. Llama 3. Let's run it again. So the outputs are slightly different in output style, depending on the model you select, but it stores it all in the history. You can export all your data, so it exports it into a file, flat file. If you want to start a new chat here. And then if you look at your history, you can see your previous conversations are stored here. When we're running these queries, it's not sending it out to the public LLMs. It's sending to your own version of that LLM. So it's all kept secure and confidential within your own AWS account. So what we can also do is we can set up guardrails within. This is what I've done is I've just jumped in the Amazon console now. What I'm going to look at here is setting up a specific guardrail. So if you've got individual requirements to block users from doing certain things within, your own deployed LLMs, you can do that in here. It's really straightforward to actually create a guardrail. Let's call this guardrail 001. So if you've got an internal company LLM policy and you've got requirements to stick to specific prompts or what you can and can't do with the LLM, you could align this guardrail set with that particular policy. If you haven't got a policy, we can help you create one. Configure harmful categories. So you can see you've got a whole bunch of sensitivity for all of these filters. So you can, for example, hate, insults, sexual violence, misconduct. You can set, you see we've set these really high. The default is high and to block. So if it sees anything that triggers one of these filters, it will just block it. It will say, and you can see, I think we go back to the previous screen, you can see the statement that comes out is, sorry, the model cannot answer this question, but that's configurable, due to company LLM policies. And then we could set all of these prompt attacks. If you're not familiar with prompt attacks, come and speak to me. We can tell you all about that. You can see these by default are set high. If we go to the next one here, we can add topics in here. Dog walking, right? So if you've got, let's say you've got an internal company cat that doesn't like you querying stuff about dog walking because the company cat doesn't like it. We can block any input or output related to specific phrases like Where can I walk my dog? And you could add various different iterations of this as well. Are there any good dog walking areas close to the office? And confirm that. And then um, we can put profanity filters in there. You can either use custom words, so you can actually type um, your own swear words.
There you go.
Bloody hell, Harry. Right. So you can see, and you can put like a whole bunch of, you can actually import a file. So if you've got all your swear words in a file,
The Profanosaurus.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And then um, one of the good things here as well is you can block or mask PII. And what we like to do is just select all of the PII types and mask the information. If you've got a specific regex patterns, which are like maybe credit card number patterns, things like that, social security, you can put these in as specific regex patterns. I'm not going to put any in there. Um, and then the grounding here, I'm not going to select these options. These are optionals. But if you've got like a database of internal company information, and when you want the answer given back that aligns with your internal content, let's say you've got company policies or documentation that you need to refer to make sure the answers coming back are, as it says here, grounded in truth. So basically, what you do is you would link your internal database of information. For that, you would need to create like something called a vector store and uses something called retrieval augmented generation RAG. It would then check that answer coming back with the content in your internal database to make sure that the answer the LLM's giving you is actually based on fact from your own documentation. You're probably aware that sometimes you can get hallucinations, so you have to check everything that you kind of output from an LLM. But having grounding checks does give you that level of kind of additional confidence that that answer coming back is correct. That's how you create a guardrail, and then you create that guardrail. It's given it a name, and you can see all your guardrails and apply those to your particular applications. Let's jump back to this and see how it's got on with this second time. So this is the output from DeepSeek. You can see it's slightly differently formatted from some of the other ones, like a brief description of the model
Oh, okay. Yeah, perfect.
in here. So powerful AI model, strong reasoning, language and code. Right, and if you go to one of these other ones, let's see what it says about DeepSeek. Reasoning, knowledge-based responses. The price up here is incorrect. But the token count is correct. But if we have a look, I did open the cost dashboard. So if you have a look, this is the Cost Explorer in AWS.
Mm.
Ran various different queries, prompts on May the 9th, as you can see. And you can see that the prompts that we raised, which was about the count of tokens was actually greater than this. We had like about 447 tokens. I reset this the other day just so I could kind of show this. But we had like something like 8,000 tokens plus 400 input tokens. And when we looked at the Cost Explorer costs here, you can see combined costs of all of the models. I mean, some of them are not even showing up. The cost of some of them are so small that they're not even showing up on the Cost Explorer. If you factor in the implementation cost for us to come and implement it for a customer, that's a different bucket. But the ongoing running costs for this, if we were just to deploy and hand off to a customer, the ongoing running costs would be, depending on the usage, would be easily trackable, easily traceable through Cost Explorer, but kind of I would say much lower than implementing something like OpenAI. So you can then just see that it's quite an efficient and cost-effective way of deploying your own secure, um, private, personalized chatbot for not just one, not just one LLM, but multiple LLMs in the same chatbot. Whereas obviously all the others, if you have OpenAI, you only use OpenAI. It has obviously some more cool features in the UI, like Claude does as well. But each one of those you pay per LLM. Just one single interface, multiple multiple LLMs, and then being able to track it to the user and to the cost as well, which obviously once we sort this calculation out, that will be accurate as well, and dark mode as well. But yeah, guardrails, safety mechanisms or constraints implemented to ensure that large language models operate within appropriate boundaries. These guardrails help prevent harmful, biased, or inappropriate outputs from AI systems.
Pretty powerful. Thank you. I think it's yeah, really important for people to kind of have that ability to control those LLMs, where people can obviously just go to websites and use them themselves and inadvertently be putting private company information on there without really thinking about that. People kind of can move around between those models and work out what's best for them, rather than just kind of like jumping around from different websites and all your information being kind of
Exactly.
released across different models across the internet.
We can define an architecture which actually means this doesn't even go across the internet,
Mm,
the queries, because obviously the URL here at the moment we've configured is internet URL. It goes to Amazon Web Services through the Amplify service. So we've built the application on Amazon Amplify. What you could do is just make sure this URL was restricted to an internal VPN, let's say, and then you would deploy this bot into Amazon Web Services, connect your local office to Amazon Web Services over a private VPN, and then all of the traffic that's going to and from this bot, again, that wouldn't even touch the internet, or it would be actually encrypted and secured across the internet through a VPN connection. And so all of your users would then use this and not go out to the external public LLMs.